we'll see if they can take some good rounds here when it comes to train. And I honestly feel like ATK, that should be the mindset they have. I don't think there should be too much frustration on their sides. I think they need to be realistic about the matches and the teams they're up against, and then just look towards tomorrow. Look towards that one game that could keep you out of relegation.
Yeah, the only reason I would disagree is the sense that they started so well. Like, if you have that strong start, you get those opportunities and you actually throw them away in like 1v3s, 1v4s. I think that's what hits you harder is it gets in your mind that you go, we actually had a chance in that one. Bop, T-side start coming in. As it is the choice of ATK to start on that CT side. Bomb already looking to get down onto the site. There's plenty of players here and they're looking to try and deny that plant. Lots of damage already done. JKS is going to be able to get one, but that is it. And it's down to just Liaz. He's now left to be the clutch meister. And they know where he is. They should be able to lock him in and just defuse the bomb without really any troubles here. This is a round that ATK cannot lose.
And I do want to point out, by the way, I didn't necessarily mean that in a rude way.
No,
I think it's just kind of like a realistic mindset they should have.
If before the match, I would have 100% agreed with you.
Yeah.
The only difference is because they actually were relatively successful within the first like 10 rounds of the match.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what's going to be the kicker. Like, if it, for me at least, if someone just destroys me, I go, okay, they're better than me. Like, I can accept that.
Right.
Whereas if I am losing situations where I go, wait, that was a 3v1, how did we lose? Or that was a whatever 2v1, 2v2. Or that was a round where Deagles won. Just remember, I think it was round 3 last time. A few Deagles was enough for Renegades to steal themselves around. That's another one. Like, that's another example. Like, if you win the initial rounds, you even win the force buy, and then you lose to a few Deagles. Like, that's what's going to tilt you. That's what's going to be like, well, looking back, we should have won this. I think it was the same for Singularity yesterday. Like, they actually sort of said after the game, we were all outside, and it was like, I feel like the scoreline didn't represent the actual match. And I do agree. I do agree. I think that if that had been like a 16-13, even like 16-12, like that would have been a match where they could have gone, okay, it just slipped away. And it did, but it just happened 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And thus, you look at the scoreline and you go, wow, they weren't that close, were they?
Well, again, you imagine what could that scoreline have been if JKS wasn't so impactful yesterday and today now. But we'll see if ATK do have an answer for that man. Currently going to be down a man currently in round 2. And Sonic might be peeking into a massive stack. I think he just spotted them out and escaped. As he will be blinded up. Be very careful to walk away so he doesn't give up any information. And he's looking to play long range. The problem is Liaz still has a deagle. And Liaz hits another shot. JKS, this should be a shot that he's able to take. And that's another kill coming through. Down to a 2-on-2. Very expensive round for the CT side, but they will close it out nonetheless.
Yeah, the real worry, though, this time is that was a round where they didn't force buy. Like, they just bought the extra money they had off the back of the bomb plant, and now you will actually see those SGs come up again. You'll see the rifles as well, the utility, everything that Renegades could need going forward, and they've dropped 3 players in this round. So you're still going to have an MP9, a FAMAS with only a single bit of utility, and, well, on the opposing side, there is a much better purchase.
They have literally a full buy in round 3. I mean, they were missing like maybe 1 piece of utility on Jacob. Knows he's going to push up and get aggressive, though. Very actually aggressive. Smoke comes through. He's going to be able to take down Liaz, but again, turns his back, and Jacob's going to walk out through and towards middle, secure that kill. And not even trying to use these guns and the range to their advantage up against the SMGs on the other side. Just taking the fight directly to them, and of course, we don't even need to guess JKS is able to get kills on the SG.
Still, though, they've turned this from a 4v2 back into a 2v2. There's an opportunity here for ATK to take this round. Bit of damage done by JKS. They know where both players are, so look where the bomb's going. It's running away, making its way onto the B site and leaving JKS. The question is, what comes first? JKS getting the kill or the bomb going down on the other side of the map? Both of them are not good for Modem. I think he knows it as that. Not really trying to fight. He's realized that the bomb is on the other side of the map and needs to get this kill. A bit of a whiff from JKS, but he's still standing, and that's the most important thing. He allows his teammate to get into a position to try and hold on to things. And there's a lot of time wasted. There is still a kit, but Modem's actually not going to go for it. And I do understand, of course, what this means for Renegades is they are going to get the round victory, and money is not going to be good in the next round for the CT side. The real question I have is whether they'll actually take the risk, because they're only going to get themselves $1,400. Now, for someone like Sonic, saving's probably worth it. you've got yourself 2600 next round. That's a buy. For JT, for Floppy, for OC, however, nah.
I say you just let Modem be the hero. Maybe keep a player or two near him, hope he can make a big play. He was the top fragger for them on Dust 2. Maybe he can do it yet again here. JKS already off to a pretty flawless start. Currently 4-3, leading his way in kills. Do have the MAC-10 picked up out of Azure, so he's looking to make some money. And it looks like they have decided to invest into this round, Tom. So fully buying up into it. Double scouts, which won't be too bad.
I love it. I love a double scout. I think in these on this map especially, it's actually quite viable. And I don't mind the force buy either. As I said, 3 of the players are not in a position to even buy in the next round anyway, at least without proper utility and maybe even a weapon or two. So try and do it now, try and break back. Only 1 player survived. Oh no, wait, 2 players survived, but even still, money not great for Renegades, so this is an opportunity. The problem is, Floppy, so much to do. Oh, then he actually gets caught out, and I thought he might be able to get a little bit more. Nice shot from Sonic, but even still, they've been isolated, and every kill that is got for ATK, a couple more are returned. JT wouldn't be the most ideal save, and he's not going to get 2 anyway.
Well, Renegades again able to bounce back. Should be seeing a save come in for the CT side of ATK, considering they invested into that round with the double scouts. Yeah, JKS again. Nice little double cut added towards.
Did he jump or did he go up the ladder by accident? Modem. Because he was in the air when he died.
I don't know.
I think he caught the ladder. I think that was a mistake. Because I think maybe he gets the kill there. But obviously, it's very difficult to tell.
Yeah, 5 USPs on the outer bomb train. The outer bomb side, and, well, not looking like CT side to get a single. Oh my god, champion shot again. Sonic's gonna fall, and that was a very clean round. JKS now up to 7, 140 ADR. Just continuing to chug along. I think every map he's had so far in the Pro League in Season 10, he's had over 100 ADR.
If he can keep that up against Liquid, I'll be impressed.
That was the next part I was going to get to. If he can do it as well against them.
But that is the difference, though. Like, he can just be good enough. And in fact, I think most of the players on Renegades can just be good enough to win this match without too much trouble. Like, you do have some, like, decent players, but you've got to remember the experience on ATK's side is very, very low. Like, with Sonic, I think, and JT being the ones who, like, they got to the America's Minor. They even said that it didn't go as planned. The oldest player on their team is 20 years old. There's not a whole lot of experience there. So this is definitely a learning curve for them. On the other side, you have JKS and Azza, who have literally been, like, superstars within Australia for years. I
think that's why, to me, it's so important for ATK to look forward to their match against Singularity tomorrow. Because being so young, getting the experience at that kind of level in Counter-Strike, that can honestly do wonders for them.
Well, and that's the thing. Whoever wins that match survives in Pro League. Like, that's massive. That's a spot for next season, no matter what happens. So you can grind out online play. You can work ready for that. So it's a big deal. It's a massive deal for both those teams. Jacob is going to start things off. It's looking like the CT's response to Renegades is to try and get aggressive, and it seemed like Renegades were fairly ready for it. They know that there's even a flank coming in. JT is going to be able to get one, but as said, every time there is a kill, there's a trade. That was perfectly timed. Literally a kill and a trade while finishing the sentence. That's one thing that Renegades looked a bit on point with on Train especially. I think it was a lot messier on Dust 2, and then even Jacob said it in the interview, you can see why they picked it. Like, at least in the first half, things were not as clean as this, but this is looking like a pretty simplistic performance so far. Of course, the early round's going the way of ATK, but you can't really get much out of that.
And when you get Renegade swapping to the CT side, I mean, double op setup with JKS and Gratisfaction, the wonders it can do together. You need a lot more of these CT rounds, and again, it's pretty similar to Dust 2. Go short consistently, will not go up middle consistently, but the problem is they run into a brick wall that is JT's, gets himself 2 kills with the Deagle. Azure and JKS still alive though. And will, I think, eventually be able to win out this round unless somehow Floppy can do this. He's got Azure one-shottable. And unfortunately not able to hit that shot, and that'll be Renegades taking another round. I think they're 5th straight.
I think that's the sort of calm that you can't get from some of the younger players. I do think there are some, like, if you go for like Brolin or Sergey, they seem to be able to hold their... I know he's Finnish, whatever, but he's still young, it still counts. Whereas, like, if you just look at that, what was that, 2v5? I wasn't even worried for Renegades there because it was JKS and Azza.
161 ADR.
Yeah, I know it's silly, but after what we've seen so far, it doesn't even seem as impressive anymore. Like, he's doing it so regularly.
It's like only 161?
Yeah,
JKS, you feeling all right?
Get to 200, then I'll be impressed.
What is actually the number 1? I know we had in Malmo. Was it Crims?
It was like 180 something,
yeah,
I think.
Is that the number 1, or is that
no? He was at number 3, but I don't think he was that far off. I imagine it would just be like a 16-0 or something like that. Like the game would just be over so fast that you were able to get a lot of damage, and obviously not be.
I'd imagine it'd have to be quick for you to maintain, since it's averaged over all the runs. Well, this time they've actually decided to not go out towards the A-bomb site. I think last round was a little bit too close for them. This time, setting their eyes on towards inner, as they do have Az already pushed out. And they have JKS going to be lurking inside a pop. They were able to pull in the rotates, and, well, the fakes worked out for them. No one here to defend the A site, and they've basically just walked straight through on. This is unfortunate for ATK, as they have to fight their way back. They have to deal with Az already propped up behind the bomb train. He knows that Modem's there on the side, and, well, he's going to get himself a 2nd kill.
The level of confidence there, he has a belt of utility. He could have Molotoved it off, he could have smoked it off, but instead it's like, nah, I want the kills. just kill both players running through. In fact, he's now gonna get a triple, trying to catch up a little bit. And yeah, this is more what I expected over the last couple of days from Renegades. Like, these are calm rounds, these are very simple rounds. Like, they seem to be running the show, setting the pace. They have already got enough rounds, or more than enough rounds, when it comes to this map. And yeah, I'm not surprised to see a tactical pause call and give TC a little bit of a chance to talk to his team.
I mean, the thing is, we can try to theory craft all day long what ATK can do differently now on the CT side to deal with Renegades.
It should.
But with, what's that?
It should.
But with, I mean, the thing is, you look at JKS, if he's hitting shots like this, if Azur's doing that as well, you need to be able to compete when it comes to like the FPS basics, you know, the 101s of just being able to aim at the level of your opponents and be able to trade as well as they are. And unfortunately, ATK just aren't really able to do so. We've seen them stack on the outside. It hasn't really worked out. They've been on pistols quite a few of these rounds, and they're just getting punished. There's just so much confidence on the side of Renegades that they're able to just walk out of middle and get kills like that.
I wonder if they're going to be able to retrieve that gun. It could at least be something for the CT side to play with in this round. The problem is there's only one defender. Now there's one defender in this B side. In fact, Liaz has just got both openers. OC is just looking to try and hold on to the gun. I almost wouldn't mind seeing him give it over to Modem and then try and do some damage. Like, he's going to be buying up an AWP. Modem has Kevlar as well. Sure, he's a little bit low, so there's a risk there, but I feel like if Modem's going to go down, OC's probably going to go down with him. And then have that Deagle with an opportunity to do a bit of extra damage. Of course, at this point, damage isn't going to be the biggest problem for Renegades. 4 players surviving again. The majority of their players going to be, well, pretty much all of them are going to be 8,000 and above when it comes to the end of this round. And Azza, in fact, will be close to that 16k marker, and looking like a much bleaker situation than what we saw on Dust 2. And it's sort of what I said. Like, firstly, it was their map choice, which is obviously good. You're going to have more opportunities there. Secondly, it's a map that, again, in the past, it's not been terrible, but it's not been the best of maps for Renegades. And also just that I feel like you go into the first match of the day against at least bigger teams with optimism. Whereas when you're spanked like that, you kind of know what's coming in the next match.
Sonic does have an op as well as OC, so they do have the double op set up. It's not just whether or not they can pick up the rounds they need with it. hopefully maintain him into the future. Look at that. I mean, you have two players pushing towards Ivy. You've got JK just watching towards upper. Sonic, that was a great shot in Elias. He's down to 7 health, yes, but man advantage taken for ATK, which is something I feel like I haven't been able to say too often so far on Train. But they're still leaving Ivy open. I mean, Grass Faction is not going to push it since he has the op, but to fight their way to get back towards middle. Actually, JT's going to back off instead. They don't have control of Pomp, so he potentially could have been flanked on. And they forced Renegades to play a lot slower.
Yeah, only 45 seconds left. The thing that worries me a bit is just the stopping power. That flashbang was so on point. Gratis Faction couldn't have had an easier kill. Now they're actually going to start their rotation back onto B. Floppy with an aggressive peek though, that might put a stop to this. It's getting fairly low. And actually the rotation is going to come away. It is going to be just onto Floppy to try and hold on to this. Rotation does eventually come back in. The shot going to be missed and Floppy holds the line. Leaves it all on to Jacob, and he's only got 10 seconds to make a play. It isn't going to happen, and ATK finally get back on the board after, well, their pistol and follow-up round.
The important part is they keep 4 players alive, too. It's a relatively clean round for them. Now, we have to ask Tom, can they do it again if they start to take some of these rounds? Because it's going to be so difficult for them as they swap over to the second half towards the T side.
Well, I wonder now if the T's will just run into A again. Like, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised to see them do something quick here. Maybe it's not going to be A, but by the looks of it, they're just going to try and brute force B. This is sort of the thing that Renegades could do, is just basically play one of these rounds really fast and just try and throw ATK off. This time they're actually going to show them a little bit more respect and be more patient at the beginning. JT has to be careful here, because Jacob is just waiting. Not going to spot anything, and we'll actually give up pop control. No, the main was taken in the last round. It seems like the CT are ready. Well, they still only trade 1 for 1. Actually, Sonic's going to get another pick with the AWP. I wonder if that's going to be some sort of reface coming out of Gratis Faction. Still feeling confident, but JKS now falls, and this is starting to look a bit better. Still, Jacob could try and drop one of these orbs. It isn't going to happen, and the double orb setup actually seems to be pretty good for ATK. 2 rounds in a row, as you mentioned. They've now done it again. The question is, will they get lost in the game?
Well, now, Renegades could go for what you said. They could go for the aggressive play to counter these double ops, set it up with some utility, rush straight out. I think ATK are going to have to be very careful of that sort of strategy coming out. But they're starting to come alive. They're starting to hit some shots. That is a good sign for them in the team. Naxal just going to talk some things over with his players to figure out what they can do to continue the pain train that's been trained so far. Let's see. Pretty much leaving their funds a little dry. Jacob's still on 3,800. Hazard on 37. Starting to look a little bit wary. Doesn't seem like they're going to go for that very aggressive play out towards middle. I would wonder if it's going to happen towards inner, since you only have one player there to defend. It's just going to be Floppy. Looks like it's not, though. Just going to back off as I looked for some early damage. Grass Faction, well, speaking of looking, is trying to look for an early shot onto someone. JT was able to push up in towards Pop.
That's something that interests me, though, with the last round basically just going wrong because of the double orb. A faster round does seem smart. I love the fake flash. It doesn't work, and JT's actually going to get himself 2 kills. Pop dog control not going to be taken at all. An impactful play from him already. Sonic manages one more. Okay. Gratis Faction straight through the smoke. Question is, can the 2 youngsters do anything here? of it? The answer is no. It's left onto Liaz, and he can't do anything. And while a fifth now added into the board for ATK, they're starting to grind out these rounds. But as said, I'm waiting to see the change of pace from Renegades. These rounds are just giving that double op setup more and more opportunities. Of course, it does help if JT is going to get a double like that. For anybody who wondering or was wondering what I meant by that flash, like that flash is basically used as just a sound cue. So you hear it hit, and so the idea is that JT will actually look away, but instead he just stares, ready to get his retinas burned out. Gets himself 2 kills for it. They've actually switched who's there though, which is interesting. Maybe one of them was, oh yeah, no, I'll play there this round, because I want the kills.
Is that something you do in matchmaking?
Well, take people's spots.
Yeah, to get kills.
Shut up, Chris.
But also, you're the type of guy who just doesn't tell them that you're taking their spot. There we go.
Here we go.
Push coming through. Floppy going to be stuck on site. She turns his back at the wrong time, unfortunately, so he's going to get caught out, which will give the entire site towards Renegades. And they're actually pushing aggressive. Look at this. Jacob flanking in from Z. Pushing in towards Z, I should say. JT or sorry, Sonic just unfortunately able to hit those shots towards upper, and now Azur's just going to swing around the corner and turn it into a 2-on-1. JT on 2 HP, and now 0. Renegades will finally take a round. It'll take a hell of a lot to finally put another one on the board.
Yeah, that was more just them going for more of a simple execution onto the B side. Like, most of the time they've either just been working picks and lost a lot of the early duels. But this time they just go, okay, well, that hasn't been working. Let's try the execution onto B, and it does. They just find exactly what they need. And, well, if they manage to get this round, well, whoever gets this round should be getting a 2-for-1, which could make a big difference. I think ATK may already be past the point, because 8 rounds on the T side is still very good for Renegades. Even the 7 they had just a moment ago should have been enough. Running boost. Oh, dear. Just 2 openers. They give so much space. They're going to be wrapping around. Liaz with another. Leaves it onto Modem. He actually does a lot of damage. Has the bomb, but it's not like the time is going to play any factor. The T's get their 9th. And as said, that round was basically a 2-for-1, as the finances for ATK are going to be shot. And, well, we might see a few SMGs, maybe a FAMAS, or just straight up pistols with utility. I think for the CT side, this is where they have to play a little bit more aggressive. Like, we might see a push onto lower B, or maybe even some Ivy presence, because you've got to get up in the faces of the rifle. If you just sit back and wait patiently, you are going to lose this round. And while there's the upper B play, and there it goes! JKS, he springs into life. He is going to get tagged up by the scout. Well, the rotation is going to come in, but I don't think there's much chance here, Jason.
Yeah, Grass actually pushed up aggressively. Actually will get caught out, and now it's just down to a 2-on-2. Sonic and Modem up against Liaz and Azur. The bomb's starting to tick away. No kit currently on the 2 players alive. And Sonic's looking to push up. Have the 5-7 in hand. Looking for that instant headshot. Liaz just trying to flash himself into safety. And it actually works out relatively well. It allows Azur to peek in against Modem, and Sonic was blinded up from that. Now he's alone against 2. He gets the first. He almost gets the second as well. Gets Azur extremely low on health, but the kit is not going to be either. The time is running out, and he just has to stick it. But he's been pulled off, and Azur, even though he will die, he'll be able to clutch out the round. And Renegades are going to have that 10-5 score.
Yeah, somewhat what we expected going into what was their map choice, a dominant T-half on a map which doesn't really allow too much. I think the addition of the SG has given teams a little bit more of an opportunity, but still like tight choke holds for them to run through, and only really the double up setup working well for ATK, along with a couple of big plays at JT's double kill. Other than that, this was just a Renegade show. Pick after pick, we saw JKS still performing, but more importantly, I think Liaz did a very good job within this match of getting some picks for his team, and we can see it here, just getting entries into the site later into the map. At least a little bit of life shown from ATK, but as I said before, 10 rounds on the T side. If they manage to bring this back, I'll be impressed.
your sign though. They ain't count on that. They ain't count on that. They ain't count on that. Show what you gon' do. They don't want all that. They don't want all that.
That sounds like a pop song.
Take a dive before you dry, y'all. It's the only way to live. You can't be without it, baby. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Try before you sign off. Shit can kill the sick. Real stories. It's the only way to live. Fancy cars and the smiles of the ocean. Purple sky, let that night come with peace. Anywhere you wanna be. Anywhere you wanna be. Yeah, yeah. Hold up your sign, though. They ain't count on that. They ain't count on that. They ain't count on that. Show what you gon' do. They don't want all that. They don't want all that. They don't want all that. Pick up panel to be right on. Yeah. 'Cause no one really gives. Don't look back, I'll keep your eyes on. Long ago. Doesn't matter what it gon' cost. Never gave a shit. Real soul. Let it take a hit. Hey. Who's getting high on emotion? Look around. People fight all their life for some peace. Yeah. Look around. Fancy cars and the smiles of the ocean. Purple sky, let that night come with peace. Anywhere you wanna be. Anywhere you wanna be. Yeah. Hold up your sign, though. They ain't count on that. They ain't count on that. They ain't count on that. Show what you gon' do. They don't want all that. They don't want all that. They don't want all that. Take off. Rush at the rush. Take off. Rush at the rush.
All of us here at the Pro League, going to give you all a shout out who are currently watching from home. We enjoy you guys sticking around. Hope you've been enjoying the show, and for those who have been sticking through us the entire time, we're still not done just yet. This is just Group C with Group D to come up in 2 days' time. As we move over to.
Come on.
You want to see break 9?
Yeah, just 9.01, like something.
I wonder if there's like a law in place that they can't go over those odds or something.
What, in the US?
Yeah, because it was 22 at the Straws versus Aristocracy.
They just don't like us.
Maybe. I don't even like me.
Okay, JKS finally put down by Modem, but is it too little too late? They do have a smoke and a Molotov. Are they going to go for the classic bounce off the door trick? Potentially. They do actually have JT in upper B, and there is a kit, but there isn't a smoke, so this could actually work wonderfully for the T side. The only problem is they have kind of taken that control a little bit early on. Actually, he's low enough, he'll die, surely. Yeah, they're going to have to get off it. They need to kill him. Molotov is going to fade, and there's still going to be enough time for Gratisfaction, so JT needs this kill, and he isn't going to get it. It will be Renegades to get the 11th. I'd still like to see the Molotov off the door. It's not bad, but they were really reliant on the rest of the team surviving a little bit longer.
A little fun between Azure and Gratisfaction there, if you saw. I mean, yeah, JKS get the 2 kills in the beginning, kind of shutting down. But it still was extremely close. The Molotov that was thrown in did a lot of damage to the last 3 players out of Renegades. But obviously fighting 1v3 is very difficult to do. We're going to see them invest into the SGs out of Sonic and Modem. I do like how Modem has it. He was the big stand-up player on Dust 2. The Renegades have bought up as well with the MP9s, the Scout, and the 2 M4s. No head armor on 3 players. Azure can actually make some, well, he could have made some decent money.
They've already lost one of their pinnacle weapons. In fact, the second will be dropped, and the bomb. JT needs to be a miracle worker, and unfortunately, he isn't. 12 to 5. Now it just has to be an eco round, and as said, like, I think after the 10-5 half, I kind of expected this to now just be a fairly easy finish for Renegades, but winning the pistol should have just put the nail in the coffin. Like, I am not normally the face of optimism, so if you are an ATK fan, maybe there's someone out there who can predict the future that you enjoy a little bit more, but I think the boys have got this one. I
mean, you're normally like the glass half full kind of guy.
That's just in comparison to you. That's like, I have like a milliliter of water in my glass and you have an empty glass, and so I'm the one that has a slightly more full glass.
Well, unfortunately for Jacob, he's gonna peek by too many players and he will fall, and OC's able to recover the SG, so not a bad start for ATK. See if he can make this weapon do some work as Sonic's trying to catch out Azure below him. Azure just gonna hold his composure, lock down this angle, and we see ATK trying to regroup back up, trying to look for that push in potentially. Well, I would want to say like pushing out middle is going to be rough, considering they only have the one SG, but unless Sonic, which actually who was donated the weapon over to from OC, can hit some shots, it's going to be difficult. Ooh, there you go. Brass Faction's going to fall, but unfortunately Sonic's going to lose out on 2 players on his team and eventually his own life. And Renegades will get the kills. I think Azure should be able to rescue the SG there. Yes, he does.
Last second.
And Renegades getting a round closer to closing out this series and to go 2-0 in the group.
Yeah, securing their position, of course. If they do manage to get this victory. Well, unless Liquid are upset, then I don't even want to think about it. But actually, yeah, then again, they would have beaten the team who upset them, so whatever. They will have secured their place at least in the next stage. It will come down tomorrow who will get that instant route straight through to Denmark and the Pro League Finals. But we'll see. Is there going to be any resistance from ATK?
Oh.
I think there was a dink through the wall. It's got to be frustrating as a putting him down to just 16 HP, and he hasn't even seen anyone on the other side yet. Very passive hold actually coming in from the CT side, sat back. Maybe almost calling the bluff of ATK and saying, you know what? Yeah, you go for an execution. We'll be ready and waiting. We don't need to get aggressive. And that is something I think you can do against less experienced teams on a map, because breaking into, well, most sites is difficult, but breaking into the A site of Train is a bit of a challenge for teams. 45 seconds gone. They're finally going to give it their go. A nice entry from OC, an important one at that. Renegades Faction actually needs to get a little bit more aggressive here as he's got players in behind him. Jacob can't defend him, and Az's going to go down as well. Entry after entry pretty much gives this round over. But with JKS and Jacob still standing, can they pull this one off? At least Jacob can't.
Well, and JKS doesn't have an SG, so 1v4 was already hard enough. A 1v5 here on Train. I think he's just trying to make it expensive, just try to pick up a kill as ATK leave the bomb site. As we can see, the money's really not there for them on the T side, so some extra damage wouldn't hurt too badly.
Could save that for Renegades as well, though. Like, going into the next round, I wonder if they'll buy. Now, if JKS saves, I think yes.
I think they're going to.
If he dies, though, I'll be a little bit more curious. In this scenario, really, they could even give Renegades Faction an AWP. JKS can drop a gun, and then they have 4 of the 5 players, so I think they'll probably go off the back of that.
Yeah, so that smoke they used, actually, to get out of Ivy, really working out for them. It forced, I think that was Lias, to rotate, actually, around to the other side to watch that angle. And, of course, being overrun by the 3 players and not having Jacob to help protect. Well done, I'd say. Let's see, coming out, that's...
No.
I don't know why you necessarily go down that ladder with a Molotov in your hand, but... Oh my gosh! JT down to 20 HP off of that spam. Now the Molotov being thrown in, and well, he's just gonna smoke that off. He recovers an SG from that too, so a nice little upgrade for him. And back to the man advantage for Renegades.
A little bit of utility expended by the T's. Gratisfaction will catch the peak of Sonic, and well, all the success they had in the last round is looking weak in this one. A more aggressive stance onto Ivy from the CT side, and in fact, they're taking far more peaks than in the last round. I think they almost challenged ATK to go for the execution, and after it succeeded, they're now looking to try and take those fights. Watching into A main. JT is going to be sent out almost as bait, but he has the bomb. That is a bit of a weird play. I feel like OC needed to be ready for that push. Modem, well, this will be the most impressive clutch we've seen so far, but he's only going to manage 2. Something at least, causing a bit of cost, and the T's do have enough finances, thanks to what I think was a clean round in the last.
And also like losing quite a few rounds in a row, the loss bonus helping them out. Yeah, they kept all 5 players alive in the last round. Well, troubling times for them. This round could be potentially their last big chance to get some sort of streak going their way. Potentially take it over to a 3rd and final map of Vertigo. Obviously, going to be very difficult to get there here, Tom. And they do have it up for OC. And the buy isn't necessarily amazing for Renegades. You do have the MP9 for Liaz. And, well, Jacob's just going to play on his feet and get a relatively easy kill into JT and Floppy as well. I think he dropped down Pop Dog, and Azur is happy to take that kill.
This is just looking too comfortable for Renegades. Modem has been the only one to really do anything, and even he can't, and that should be relatively easy kill. OC trying to find the shot through the smoke, but eventually he's actually going to get killed through the wall instead. 15-6. Trying to do one better than they managed in their last map. Another dominant performance coming out from the Renegades as they look to make this a swift 2-0. This time around, it doesn't seem like ATK have really put up much resistance whatsoever. Now they come into the potential last round of the map with fairly little.
Yeah, you compare this map to the last. 16-7 on Dust 2, potentially 16-6. But the 16-7 was, albeit 1 round more, looked way more competitive out of them, and it could have easily swung quite a few more rounds in their favor with how the actual rounds did play out. But this one, this is a 16-6. Like, this does reflect what the scoreline says.
Yeah, there've been no, like, major clutches needed. This has just been dominant from Renegades. This is looking like a much stronger map from them overall, and yeah, there were some rounds that were massively questionable when it came to Dust 2. Of course, that is the difference between Renegades playing their opponent's choice and their own. Like, they look very good on the T side of this map, and starting on the CT side and struggling as much as ATK have. I think it says it all of the caliber of their opponent in this scenario. 58 seconds as they start making their way through Ivy once again. It's been one of their major points of contention, and CT side aren't actually looking in that direction. There is going to be a switch up. Liaz now realizes that he's about to be pressured, and he has Gratisfaction spin around. Nice shot from Modem. Needs to kill off Jacob on the site. He's the biggest problem, and he kills off the healthy man. It's left to Modem to try and save them, and he can't do it this time. 16-6 as Renegades take themselves the second map and the 2-0. It puts them 2-0 overall in the Pro League as well, and sends them at least to the second group stage. Of course, they have the juggernaut of Liquid to face off against.